Hello everyone. Today I am playing with, I love double loading my brush. If you haven't tried this, oh my goodness, you have to give it a try. Now today in particular, I just kind of grabbed this Velvet Touch Petals number 8 because I don't use it very often, and lately I've been kind of trying to use some brushes and things that I don't normally use. So this is double loading. Look at the beautiful colors you can get. You can get this two-tone kind of ombre effect. So I thought I might try to play with that today. And that's an old painting I did over the weekend. Let's just play a little bit with some flowers. So what I did is I took, if you haven't seen this Petals brush, it's actually really fun. I think I bought it and it came in the Princeton floral set, I think it's called, but it's like a triangle. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's a triangle shape for beginners, and I'm explaining that for beginners, and it's just really, really fun. So what I did is I dipped my brush in yellow paint here, and then I just dipped the tip into a rose red, and I'm using this wonderful, as you know, I know I'm a broken record. If you don't want to hear this, you can just fast forward. This Artisto paper, you know, I absolutely love it. I believe in Canada and the UK it is a little pricey, so the Meeden paper is fabulous as well. This stuff has a great texture, and I've tried so many. Here's the Meeden paper. I love the Meeden paper. It's fantastic as well, and I think it's a little bit more affordable in the other countries. So these two are kind of my go-to. I use this one's on a block, meaning it's sealed on all edges, and you can really get some wet on wet here, and you don't have to tape your paper down. So Meeden, I'll link that for you. If not, these Artisto Pads I love. And what's great about the Artisto Pads is you can just keep them in. You know, I label these like February 2024 or flowers or color palettes or warm-ups, whatever you want to do. And they're great reference to come back to. Okay, so let's just go ahead and play here. Let's see where I'm at. I dipped my brush in yellow, and then I dipped the tip into rose red. I've got my Lang paints here. Again, another student product. Anymore, I do my daily painting on here because honestly, guys, I can't afford to paint on Winsor Newton every day. If you can, that's fantastic. Go for it. You know, get as good of supplies as you can. I painted on Winsor Newton for years, but just the volume of painting I'm doing now, these are fantastic. They give you every color. So today I've dipped my brush in yellow. And then I just dipped the tip in this beautiful, I love the Lang pinks. They've got some really pretty pinks. Blues and purples too are kind of my favorite in their palette. And watch what comes out of that. So I'm just going to do a few little flowers here. I'm holding my brush this way, resting my palm on my paper. And I'm pointing my tip of my brush. Another reason, by the way, I love these Velvet Touch. Number one, they're soft, but they're a short handle. When I use long handles, I tend to hit everything around me. So I'm just pointing the end of my brush in the direction I want the flower to kind of face, laying my brush down and kind of jiggling it like this. There you go. So I've got a fun little flower there. And for beginners, these are really nice because they're fairly easy. So let me dip into both colors again, and let's do another one right here. So I'm just kind of keeping the tip of my brush in the center of my flower. So if this was the center, and I'm just shimmying up and down. Look at that beautiful ombre effect. Isn't that so fun? And if I just lay my brush down, I can get some buds like that. And then we're gonna go in and just join some green. So let me dip this in my yellow again, dip the tip into the pink, and let's try that again. Over here, shimmy, but keeping the tip of my brush pointed towards the center of the flower. Such a pretty, pretty effect. And I could do a full flower here. I have to turn my paper like this, something like that. And look how fun. This would be pretty in purple and that sky blue, the sky blue here with the lavender. Oh, that would be really pretty. So let's just keep going. I'm gonna press down, maybe some here. You could even do a version of a flower like that. You could do petals all the way around. So let's just keep going. Shimmy, 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 shimmy. Like this. Need a little bit more water here. Pressing down. And I'm going to go ahead and rinse. I always, by the way, keep a wash and a rinse if you're new to watercolors. Watercolors are so transparent. You want to make sure you're washing your brush, scraping it off, and then you're rinsing. Because it's so transparent, if you have any paint, see the paint still coming out? If any of that paint is still in your brush, it's going to go into your next color. See that? There's still paint on my brush. So I have to just keep rinsing and wiping it off until it's gone. And now I'm going to go in with some green. My go-to green is always, although it's switching a little, I really like this light tree green that Mylene has. But normally it's always been sap and olive green. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to place my brush in the side, not going in with the tip. And then just lightly dabbing the tip. And let's create some fun petals and stems. One great thing about this brush is you really can get a fine, fine tip. Just really the tiniest little line. Look at that little hairline. Now it got a little thicker because I turned my brush to the side. But look at how delicate and beautiful that is. Let's add some leaves in there. So I'm going to go in using the side of my brush. Oops, you can't see me here. Using the side of my brush. Now, normally I would always tell you don't go into your paint with the tip, but I'm just really lightly going in. And I'm going to let's make some little leaves here. So point, pressing down like that. Let's go in and add a little bit darker. Point, press. See that ombre effect? Isn't that pretty? Let's do a few more of those. Point, press into the side. Maybe do some little leaves here. So this brush is really fun. I'm going to go in again and double dip here. Double load, it's actually called. And then just the tip barely into that other paint to get that. And point, press, point, press. Now I'll have to turn my paper to get to the other side because I can't do this on my left side. Point, press, point, press, But look how pretty that is. So let's double load again. Load my brush, side of my brush. Then the tip, very gently. I'm just picking up some of that darker paint with the tip of my brush. Point press. Point press. And you get these really fun little ombres. Point press. And I rinsed off my brush a bit. I didn't scrape it off. And let's go in and add some lighter values. I have to turn my paper again because I'm just not good at the other way. Point press, point press. Add in some more leaves, but look how pretty. That would be the cutest little card. And I think we could even maybe add, just with the tip of my brush, come out here. And create a lot of movement. Some fullness. I feel like I almost want a couple little flowers in here. So I've rinsed my brush off and I'm going to go into the yellow and then into that bright pink, and let's just create a couple more right here. Just dab, dab, maybe right here, dab, dab, kind of to create and such an easy way to do that. There you go. So again, try this with some of your other colors. I think blues and purples could be beautiful. Make sure that you are rinsing that brush out. I think what I might do is just take this little tiny, gosh, this is happened to be sitting here. This is a really tiny brush, Princeton 2. Look how tiny that little brush is. And I might go into my MAB metallics. And let's add in some of, let's just play now. So, ooh, that's pretty. Adding in some of that, just to give it a little something extra. I think that's really pretty. Although I could add these metallic skies to anything. Maybe just outline some. There we go. And just this fine liner's kind of cool. Let's see what happens if we add some to the flowers. That's pretty too. Now you could have shut this off now and just said, I like what I did. I'm done, Debbie. But I'm always experimenting with these MAB metallics because I just love them. And I think that is so pretty to add. Just adds a little something, doesn't it? And sometimes it's just enough where it catches your eye. And the gold, she has a gold collection here too that's quite beautiful. Let's see what that looks like. Let's go into that and see what the gold looks like. I feel like because it's yellow, it might not show up as much, but let's take a peek. Oh, it actually shows up quite well. That's pretty too, the gold. Yeah, it actually shows up really well and is quite pretty with the yellow flowers. I just love her metallics. They move so beautifully. Let's see what it might look to add maybe a gold leaf. Now this could be getting busy, right? Oop, I didn't even finish that petal. I didn't even add stems to those. Look how beautiful. Oh, wow, guys. See, this is why I just play and practice, because I could have just stopped and said, yeah, that's good enough. But now I'm finding I actually really like the gold. Hopefully you can see that. Look how pretty that is. So play like this. I've just given you kind of a practice of using them both, the gold and the silver, which actually, this is the series that I used a lot during the holidays. It's the mirror series. I really like all of them. They're different. These have a little bigger, larger glitters, chunky. And then I recently in January got the gold series, which I love because they add so much. Look at that shine and shimmer. All right, guys. Well, I hope this was fun for you. If you haven't tried this Petals brush, it might be a fun one. I hear a lot of times when I have used this that you guys already have this and just hadn't quite done a lot with it. And I know there's a lot of different ways this makes actually really beautiful roses. So give it a try, and I hope this inspires you. And most of all, just have fun and play. And if it brings you joy, that's what I paint these days. All right, everybody, I will find my link for this, see if they sell this by itself. I bought this last year, but I'll see if I can find that for you. Everybody asks me about my palettes. I've bought these for the last 5 years. I order them for all my classes. These are custom palettes she makes specifically for me. You won't even really find palettes on her Etsy site. I'll put the link if you want to pre-order. We wait in order till we get an order of 10, and then she produces them at the same time because they're quite costly. But I designed all of these. I had designed the little everything in here with her. The design rest. She did the daisies because that's my thing. She writes watercolors and wildflowers, which is kind of my tag. And she makes each little petal individually because I wanted daisies. So anyway, you guys always ask me about my palette, and I think that's it. Have fun and remember to play.